Hey everybody, so in this video I wanted to show you a 3D model file that I've got specifically to make glow predictions and where you can download it and how you can use it to actually make predictions on the globe and see if they match your outdoor observations, tests, and measurements. And we're going to go over a little bit about the equinox that's happening September 22nd and how you can also use this predictor to see if the prediction actually matches observed reality as well. So we're going to try to get you comfortable in Blender, and so you can kind of play around and do the same things that I do when making glow predictions. So this may be in a couple parts, so I'll try to keep track of time, but you may want to save these as favorites because it's fun and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's get started with the basics. All right, so to get to the files, just go to sites.google.com/view/helping flat earthers. Make sure you're on the home page and you scroll down to the bottom to the public Blender file. So when you click that, it's going to open up a Google Drive. And you've got several things here. And the biggest things you're going to worry about is the start here and the texture and images. So let's just talk about the textures and images for a second. These are actually the images that I use to make the spheres and the flat earth have a picture on it. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to use the sun and the moon one, but if you wanted it to look like the sun and the moon, you can. These are the images that go over the flat earth, but this one's the one that you're going to want to look at when it comes to the globe model. And there's a little help file in this document here that kind of explains some of the things right here with texture mapping. So you can kind of read over that. But once you go back out, you're going to go into the start here, beginner. And then there's going to be a starter globe predictor. And of course, there's some conversion documents and a read me first document here if you want to do that. But you can download that file. But you also want to go and download Blender. Right now it's version 4.5. Just go to blender.org and then you can download it. It's free. You just download it. And it's going to say something about donations, but it will automatically start downloading, so you don't have to do anything there. It should just automatically start downloading, and then you can install it. Okay, once you have Blender here, you can just kind of click away. You're going to go up, and I'm going to try to do this as best I can. You're going to just go to File, and you're going to open that Blender file, the starter glow predictor, right? And what it's probably going to look like in the beginning is something like this. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to go up into this orientation and you want to click here. This is your viewport shading. This is going to be able to show all of the textures and everything. So you want to make sure that you're in that view. Now yours is probably going to show like a purple looking thing. So what we want to do is we want to go to shading, and we want to click on this globe. See how it's highlighted around there? So what you want to do is you want to look for this brown box, and what you want to do is then open it up, and then you want to find where that image was of the globe that you downloaded from the Google Drive. I recommend you just put it, save it. It's going to go to your downloads, but move it into your documents folder. And then just put everything in your documents folder or a folder that you've made where you know where everything's at. But if you put them in your download folder and you leave them there and you select them, if you ever delete your downloads, then that's going to go away. So I just put mine in my documents folder, and you're going to look for that 2K Earth day map, right? You're just going to select that and you're going to open your image. And when you open your image, it should pop up there and it should be there. And then you can go back to your layout view. And then, just for giggles, you can go ahead and save that file. I also recommend you save as after you do that and save it as a new file and then work off of the new file and keep the original file as your backup, just in case you click some things and you mess up some stuff, you can always go back to the original file. But this will get you started with this model right here. All right, so we're going to talk about navigating this space. So I have a mouse and I have a scroll, okay? And then what I also have is the ability to click, and I can move. It's gonna be kind of weird to do this, but when I click the middle mouse, this is allowing me to navigate in three-dimensional space, okay? So scrolling does this, clicking it, and then moving the mouse allows me to move around in 3D space. Now, if I also select the shift and do the exact same thing, it keeps me locked into one orientation. So again, if I click the mouse, I'm able to move around and do all that stuff with the middle mouse click. But as soon as I click shift and then do it again, it locks it. Okay, so scrolling in and out zooms. I can do this or I can do this. So get comfortable with those three things because you're going to use that quite a lot. Now, if you get messed up in your orientation, this is your orientation guide. So you're going to click your X and your Y and your Z. So if you wanted to snap to your X in this direction, it snapped. If you wanted to go to Z and you snap, it snaps there. So if you get in some kind of weird orientation, you're like, oh, I'm stuck, I need to get back out. Just go back up here and start clicking these until you get to the orientation that you like to be in. But this is how you move around in your space, okay? So let's talk about some of the simple switches or options we need to make sure that we're turning on. So up here, you got your options. You can change the way you see things. So you can select things and it'll make it look different, right? So this is your wireframe mode. And then you can kind of go up there. It's your viewport shading. And then there's your other viewport shading version. And this is your, what's called I call it the render version. Okay, so I usually stay in this mode to be able to see everything. Now, what you want to make sure of is you want to make sure sometimes things are a little hidden. So you want to make sure that you can pull out this area right here, or that you have these tabs, depending on which version of Blender you may have these options. But the thing that I want you to look for is the view and your focal settings. So your focal length is going to be standard, clip start is going to be standard. Your end clip view is how far away you can see things. And you want this to be a pretty big number. This starts out at 1,000 meters, but I've got it right now set to 100,000 meters. And that means it's almost like your fog of war. It gets to the point where you can't see anything anymore. But if it's only at 1,000 meters, like if I selected this to 1,000 meters, right, it's going to disappear very quickly. See, it just disappears. So you want to make that pretty big. I'd say 100,000, and then allows you to kind of go out more and more and more and more before it just automatically disappears. So make sure your view is set to, I'd say at least 100,000. I don't think anything outside of that is worse. So let's go over this real quick. This is your bar that's showing 720 units. Every time that you click, it's half a degree. Okay, 720 is double of 360. So every time you're clicking here, it's rotating at half a degree. This is why it's the 720. But one of the weird things is, since this is a loop, for it, whatever reason it does, it doesn't do, it does it on the end and not at the beginning, I guess. There's 0, but if I just move this to 1, it doesn't move. It moved 1. Now I move it to 2, it doesn't move. So when I move it to 3 though, you see it move. 4, you see it move. 5, you see it move. So you got to remember that it's just part of the feature of it when it does this loop. So there's that. On to part 2.